I'm the girly, and honk if you masturbate! Whether you're spanking the monkey or ringing Satan's doorbell, most people masturbate. The percentage that fess up to it is another case entirely. In the 1940s and 50s, American biologist Alfred Kinsey published Sexual Behavior in the Human Male and Sexual Behavior in the Human Female. Being an era of intense social and political conservatism, you can imagine how that kind of research was met. Kinsey's research was heavily criticized and the books even banned, considered by many to be no better than common pornography. Nevertheless, he was a pioneer in the field and helped demystify sexual identity in what was a very puritanical environment. Not that said environment stopped men and women from exploring those identities for themselves. Kinsey's research found 2 out of 3 women open the escape hatch on a regular basis, while with men the percentage was even higher. Despite the ridiculous folktale garbage promoted to shame the practice out of society, parents too intimidated by the sexual development of their growing children, religious groups against forms of pleasure not leading directly to growing more children, political right-wings riding the righteousness train. You'll go blind. You'll grow hair on your hands. You'll catch an STD. You'll go to hell. And most recently, it's a form of rape. This best and brightest nugget of colossal derp is brought to you by the select religious groups and that one chapter of modern-day feminism handbook we'd all just prefer to go away. The former making the religious look completely sexually stunted, the latter doing the favor for a cause that could be taken seriously if not for its Tumblr compatriots. The put the lotion in the basket approach. Select religious sects would have us believe that the body is a temple, that it should be kept pure. Fine. Your body is your temple. It is all you'll get. You should respect it. But that respect stops short of believing that through the act of sex you allow its defilement, and through masturbation you defile it yourself. You rape yourself. Self-rape. Yet as a believer, you're taught that God made you, gave you the ability to pleasure yourself in the first place. And yet you're also expected to believe it stops short of exercising that ability like some lifelong test of endurance. That a grown adult should feel the need to seek help for masturbating is absolutely fucking ridiculous. Now, if you're doing it all day, every day, maybe you have a problem. But if you genuinely think it a form of rape, believe yourself shameful in satisfying your body's biological urges, allow it to shape your mood and life to a point where that shame is all you can think about, then you have a bigger problem. And it's nothing to do with your inclination for the backstroke roulette. Alfred Kinsey's research also found that a mere 13% of Christian men considered masturbation to be normal. For the rest, it was an aberration, a mutation, the X-Man of shame. And yet the act of masturbating serves several biological functions in both genders. Not only does it increase certain hormonal levels that help your immune system, but also releases dopamine to boost your mood. For men, it helps reduce the risk of prostate cancer. For women, the risk of cervical infection. Masturbation is, in fact, just another method of exercising your body. In this case, the very muscles involved. A lot of advantages. Almost like it was designed specifically to do that. If you believe in God, and if you believe He created you, it's not a logical long jump to understand that He gave you the ability to self-love in an effort to keep that temple of yours standing a little longer. When it comes to the social justice approach, nowhere will you find a better bastardization of feminism's touted intent than through the professional victims of Tumblr, where the male is to blame for everything everywhere. Patriarchy is your readily available scapegoat, and one cannot have a single sexual inclination without oppressing someone somewhere. Pornography is often trotted out as a prime example of female victimization, an outdated opinion more appropriate to a time without regulation, a time its adult, consenting actors weren't readily available to the public eye. A statement that in no way takes from the seriousness of crimes like human trafficking and forced prostitution, but is in no way directly relatable. How? because the banning of the former wouldn't cause the latter to cease to exist. If anything, it would expedite and increase the problem, as it would increase the demand. Now, in the age of rape culture, an issue that affects both sexes, consent is incredibly important, and its definition has become very specific, oftentimes quite rightly so, but sometimes to a ridiculous degree. To the degree where you are expected not to masturbate to a dirty magazine because the woman in the picture didn't give you direct consent. You might assume that through the act of posing in this month's issue of Men's House, she was smart enough to assume the obvious, but no! We'd prefer to imagine these women insanely ignorant or stupid and demand consent in their stead, because your body is my business. The same with pornographic films. The laughable claim that every time you masturbate to a woman having sex in a porno, you're actually victimizing women everywhere. Indirectly raping the one in the film, objectifying the rest. If that's the case, I guess I rape and objectify on a pretty regular basis. But the fact of the matter is that adults are completely able to make their own decisions. They can decide to seek employment in the adult industry. Porn is a very financially lucrative business, after all, particularly for women. Is the decision always made from a place of many options? No, of course not. There are still men and women alike that turn to the trade out of desperation. But if that's the case, it suggests their options are slim, and this was the best one for them. Which means we need more options, not less. In which case, the true solution is not to remove the only option they have, but to spend the time instead working out new ones. So if they really don't want to in the future, they won't have to. And the ones who do want to, of which there are many, can. We need a practical solution for the former that doesn't include burying the problem beneath a mountain of subjective offense and self-righteousness. And if you feel like masturbating right now, but think it too dirty, shameful, or wrong, just remember, you're not alone in your dirty, dirty thoughts. In this moment, over 790,000 Americans are masturbating. Come on, do it for your country. Kangaroos give themselves blowjobs.